But here we go. Okay, at the top left position as the brown Zerg, we do have Julia. And at the bottom left as the blue Protoss, we will have Dragon.
Okay.
Alright, so once again, you're going to pick Dragon to win, and I'm going to root for Julia?
Yeah, I'm staying with Dragon 2-1. Although, I have to say that I definitely think it can go either way. It's not like I'm certain of that, but I do think that because Dragon also plays Zerg, I think he can smell the cheese.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's an excellent point, actually. I don't know if Julia plays his off races that much, but we'll see. I mean, I think in general, games we see Zergs tend to do quite well against Protoss, so that may play a factor. Oh yes, and before anything too interesting happens, of course, I want to give a huge shout out to our tournament sponsor, Rustbrain, providing the generous $2,000 prize pool. It's really amazing for a Brutal tournament. So yeah, major thanks to that guy, and huge thanks to Team Liquid as well for doing all the adminning stuffs.
Yeah, always there to help us. Couldn't be doing this as smooth as we can right now without their help, definitely.
And it looks like Dragon gonna get a lucky first scout off. Quick note on the spawns, by the way. Dragon's got one of the spawns where it's really easy to wall in. Jade is kind of annoying in that if you get bottom left, top right, it's super easy to wall in, and if you get top left, bottom right, it's kind of wonky, and you have to sort of think about it a bit. Yeah, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it's just like if you don't know the walls, you have to spend a bit more time thinking about it.
You know, one thing that I like, the Overlord actually was scouted by Dragon, so Dragon not only knows that, you know, where the spawn is, knows that the Overlord is going to scout him, as well as he knows the build. So far, pretty much like, at this point, everything that Dragon wants to know, he knows it.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's still early days. He's going to try a bit of annoying pro blogging here. This is what happens when you go the overpool, the drones, or the pro rather scouts you this early. It's just kind of annoying. You can see the second drone is actually leaving to go scout because the Overlord is only just now getting to the forge. And this other drone could potentially go make a hatchery somewhere else as well if this guy gets blocked for too long. He could actually build his third hatchery first instead of his natural hatchery. But no, it looks like he actually did enough damage to the probe. That's actually really good control there by Julia. He did a lot of damage to this probe.
I gotta say, Julia's control has always been on point, so... But even then, even considering that, really good control. Now, let's see Dragon how long he can keep that probe alive, because that's really going to be important. Now, there is a cannon already finished, and 5 links should not be able to break it.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good here. Another nice thing about the wall in this position is there's no gap below the forge, so there's no easy sneak in to the links. One problem that sometimes happens on this map is the distance from the ramp to like the actual base here is quite big, so there's a lot of space to potentially run by. But in this case, not going to be a problem.
Okay, so whoa! What is Julia trying to do here?
Wow, that was optimistic.
Wait, the
what?
cannon just missed. Okay,
oh
guys.
My God.
We have seen. That usually you don't see that because it's like 1 in 255, right?
Yeah, or 256, I guess it must be.
Okay, it's 256. So basically, what you just witnessed is Brood War history.
Oh my God, the mischance on flat ground. Yeah, that's right. For anyone who isn't aware, that's actually correct. There is like a random tiny % chance to miss any shot. I don't know why that's there. But, well, it saved Julia 1 Zergling, which, interestingly enough, could actually be useful, because if, say, this probe in the base dies and Dragon tries to send out another probe, the second lane will actually contribute a lot in preventing that scout. Yeah. So that's quite important, actually. But a bit unlucky for Julia.
Well, you know what? This is not good. Okay, if Dragon loses this game, I'm saying that's because of that mischance. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in my pocket just in case. Okay, so Belair is scouted, and I gotta say, this probe has been there forever.
Yeah.
That's almost, okay, 4.5 minutes is a lot of time to be scouted. He knows that there is no Hydra Den. He knows as well that there is pretty much nothing that can actually attack him really early on, so... At this point, Dragon is in a very good position. Is that probe even gonna... Okay, scouts the third, so knows that the third is probably on the other location. Although, he definitely wants to see these extra Zerglings, because that's gonna tell him that, oh, speed? Okay, not gonna see speed, but it's gonna see that there's more Zerglings being built, so he should be a little bit careful about that wall now.
Yeah, usually you would make a second cannon soon here, even if you don't scout anything, just to be safe. Staying on one cannon, it's a little bit greedy. I mean, it's not necessarily bad. You can get away with it sometimes, but I feel like it's an unnecessary risk, especially since Julia already tried the run-in once. But having said that, with 3 zealots here, this is a completely tight wall, and even with only 1 cannon, it'll be quite... Oh!
Oh no, no, don't... Oh no!
Oh!
Nice! Clutch! Okay, Dragon. Come on, man, you can do it. Now, he's been definitely playing with fire, I gotta say.
Yeah. The good old Zergling fire. If Julia had reacted maybe a half second earlier there, I think he maybe would have been able to sneak in a little bit. But either way, it was good by Dragon to immediately pull back there. And yeah, I think it's mainly due to this really tight wall that he can get away with just this 1 cannon. It's actually quite nice for him. It does save you quite a bit of minerals here in the early game. And he's going for the +1 stairs, going for otherwise just a Citadel, as normal.
You know what's actually really strikingly interesting is that Julia's playing the complete macro style.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen him do that. Of course, I haven't seen a lot of his games, so that's not to say that he doesn't play this style, but most of his games are always very, very, technically difficult to pull off, but also difficult to defend against. But with this kind of build, I think this plays a little bit better to Dragon's strengths.
Probably. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I haven't seen enough of Julia's long game to be sure. I feel like Dragon might be the stronger player, as well as you say. But I haven't seen any of these players in quite a while. Now, interestingly, the +1 carapace, air carapace, is already on the way for Julia. I do quite like this actually. The +1 air weapons is going to be finished soon, but Julia will have his carapace, not too long after that to help deal with these Corsairs. One thing to be careful about on Jade is something I mentioned earlier. Actually, is there's quite a big space between the ramp and your natural hatchery. So to make a wall in here, or to make this, a nice defense against zealots, is a little bit tricky. There's a lot of space, even if you put the extra buildings like the Evo and the Hydra Den there. So just have to be aware of early zealot shenanigans. It doesn't look like Dragon's doing that. He hasn't even built the second gateway yet, so I don't think Julia actually has to worry about that though.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, when I'm looking at what Dragon is doing, it seems completely standard. The only thing that worries me a little bit is he's not adding yet any extra gateways. He's going for the Templar Archive, so it looks like it's going to be a rather later, like a strong mid-game, but right now it's not really that powerful. This move from the Zealots shouldn't really do much damage, except maybe do some extra Sunkens.
It's interesting, there's actually quite a few Zealots here. They are going to have +1 and speed. But this is production off the 1 gateway. He's just been producing non-stop, which is it's actually a surprising number of zealots to me. But yeah, it's gonna come in here. But the defenses are already up for Julia. He's done actually quite a nice wall here. Even with the Spore Colony, actually being very careful and wow, building a lot of static defenses because he has actually gone for the fast 4th base here. So he's playing very, very turtley style, which I think works pretty well on Jade. Actually, I think. In general, this is what you see the Korean pros do, what they go for on this map. So let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that worries me a little bit for Dragon is he's flying around with only 5 Corsairs, and that's not enough really to one-shot the Scourge before they can hit. Already 1 Corsair took a hit, and he has been investing so heavily on this kind of style that he really can't afford to lose these early tech units. Otherwise, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. Oh, whoa, 6 gateways. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I mean, he's killed a couple of Overlords already and supply blocked Julia, who doesn't actually have that many Scourge. So, looks like he's okay for now. Oh, no, he actually didn't take that Scourge hit. I believe 5 Corsairs with +1 is enough to actually kill the Scourge before they can touch you, unless you get a flank off. So that's pretty good. Took a few free shots there. One thing I would quickly like to point out as well is the +2 weapons upgrade for Dragon has started almost immediately after his +1 finish. I really like that. A lot of players, even though they go for the fast +1 build, they don't actually follow up the upgrades that quickly. But by doing this, Dragon's actually going to have really, really well upgraded ground units very quickly.
Yeah, and definitely it's important in a PvZ where you know that the stakes are high. If you're going to go early upgrades, you don't stop making them ever, because you have to at least be equal with the Zerg. If you're up one upgrade, it always gives you a small edge, especially against Zerglings, which are really annoying because they are cheap and they can surround very fast. So you really want to kill them as fast as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely true there. It looks like, oh, Corsair's taking a lot of shots there. They do grab one of these Overlords. Julia having to sort of keep them together. Actually, is he? He's not actually even getting Overlord speed, surprisingly. I don't know if he just forgot or what's happening here. That's a bit strange to me. I would have thought he'd started it by now.
You know, he did lose a lot of economy before, so maybe he just needs the money for something else. One thing I'm kind of surprised about is that these Corsairs are taking a lot of free damage every time they go, and I'm not really sure why that is. I'm not sure if that's because... Oh, okay, another denial of the third, maybe? Seems like it.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Yeah, Julia's denying the third for a very long time. Although, to be fair, with this amount of gateways, and using Dragoons, which are quite expensive, I'm not sure if he was actually trying to fake that he wants to.
Oh my god! I think Dragon's going all in. He's not getting Storm at all. He didn't get Storm. He's got no High Templar. He's just got the one Archon, and the Dragoons are great at sunken busting. I don't know if this was intentional or if he's done this because he can't get his third. But this is going to be a huge attack on Julia. Oh my god!
Dragon made so many gateways that I think it's intentional.
Oh man, well he's got to win this attack or at least do serious damage to the space. Here he goes. There's a really nice wall here. The Archons and Zealots are trying to break it down. You can see the Zealots are all getting stuck behind the wall. Finally, the door's open, but the problem is the Dragoons can do so much damage even from the other side here. The Corsairs coming in, killing maximum Overlords here. Oh my goodness, but there's so many units dying as well that Julia's not even supply blocked, but the Dragoons at this timing are so powerful, and all the Overlords fall. Julia is now supply blocked. He can't build units to defend this, and I think Dragon...
Look at the rally, more Zealots coming in!
Oh god! And Julia taken down in game number 1. Wow.
I think actually Dragon was faking to take that third, because if you look at the first probe that went down there, he knew that there were Zerglings in the middle because the Zealots that were down there already saw them, and then he sent even another probe to try to take that third, and he sent it alone again. Yeah. So I think it was actually a fake.
That could very well be, actually. I mean, he did throw away quite a few probes there, but I guess it doesn't really matter if you're just going to win the game on 2-base. And I guess the fact that he didn't research Storm for a really long time also indicates that you're not exactly trying to play a long game. So that was really nice. Thinking about... I'm still not 100% convinced though. Like, in terms of going 2-base all-ins, like building the Templar Archives just to make one Archon is like inefficient. Seems inefficient. You know what I mean? And so that kind of thing. It's like if he was going to do that, maybe he could have just done one of those fancy movie-style Dragoon all-ins on 2-base that hit like even faster. But I guess it worked out in the end. So who am I to judge?
I think with the Corsairs, he was actually constantly trying to kill more Overlords, and in a way, maybe that's why he was even losing some of them, because he knew that later on they would not be needed. So the idea was to constantly make Julia spend some extra cash on Overlords, and at the same time, when you do hit with that 2-base, maybe not all in, but very strong attack, then you get a better engagement.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense as well. Anyway. We are going on to game number 2 here between Dragon and Julia. It's going to be on Aztec. And, yeah, well, let's find out. Julia can make the comeback.
All right.